Okay, I'm taking this video as an excerpt from one of my sort of project series, so if it seems a bit disjointed, that's probably why, but there's no other videos that I can find on how to actually fully disassemble a W209 CLK mirror, like the wing mirror, door mirror, whatever you want to call it, and it's quite involved, and I managed to find how to do it, and I thought I'd share with you guys because I was struggling with it. Luckily I had a spare one to practice on, so if it helps you out, please do like, subscribe, etc. If you want anything else doing on the W209, let me know and I can arrange that. So I like doing how-tos. So yeah, I'm just going to cut it off at the end of the video. There's no outro, so yeah, thank you, and hopefully this helps. But I managed to find some absolute hero posted. Yeah, we're going back to the 90s, boys. We've got the analogue instructions printed out in black and white, and where I spilled my drink on it the other day. So following this, I managed to do it. So I'll try and, if I remember, I'll leave a link to this in the description if anyone's interested. I might do a separate video just showing how to do the 209 wing mirror, just as like a real short section, because it might help a lot of people. But yeah, it's pretty involved. Here's remnants of the other one. So you basically use the body from this because I know they're working, and then the covers from the other one, but you've got to take it pretty much fully apart. So yeah, not ideal. Well, you can keep the frame from the other. You just got to swap all the covers onto, and there's like a. I'll show you. So to get it apart, basically you want to leave it on the car. Obviously, I've got this one off already because it's a spare one. You want to pop the glass out. I'll show you this on the car as well. You want to pop the glass out, pop the mirror like motor out. So there's 2 bolts there, and then 1 there. There's 3 bolts, and then you want to take out the indicator as well. There's a bolt there, and then it just kind of from the back. It just pulls out this way. Just be careful. Sort of just maybe pry something there and just be real gentle with it, or put something there and pry it out. Just be real careful so you don't actually split the lens, which I did on this other one, but I think that's because it was pretty degraded. And then you want to take these 3 bolts out, so 1, 2, 3, and then there's a couple of tabs that you can see. So there's one here that kind of pulls down, and then you can pop against it. There's one here, and then there's 2 there, like at the top, so they pull down, but then it'll be anchored onto the body as well, so you kind of got to do that, then fold the mirror, and then you can pull it off, and then you can pull the back cover off, and then you can pull the front cover off fully. If that makes sense. But I'll show you on the car. I just want to show you now, so when I'm talking about it, I might be in the way of it while I do it myself, so you'll have a bit more room to see. And obviously don't forget to disconnect and connect, so you can see at the minute. So I'm going to crack on with that. I'll show you on the car, and then I've got to take that one a bit apart and this one like fully apart, so yeah, we'll get on with it. So the hardest part of this is probably taking the glass off. Especially seeing as I'm kind of trying to be out of the way, so you guys are. Well, that went on very securely. Oh yeah, I see why that wasn't popped down. Okay. Well, I mean, it hasn't fallen off yet. So pull the little connectors there off, and it looks like this is this a dimming one? Okay, so that must be a dimming one. So we'll have to use the harness from this, we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to take the motor out, take my indicator out, so I'll come back and take these 3 tiny Torx, then I'll remove those Torx I just showed you for this like sort of body bit. Okay, so I'm just going to remove those screws that I mentioned before, that are sort of holding in the housing, if you will. And then you can kind of pull that down. So you don't want to be too aggressive at the minute because it might snap already. You don't want that to happen, but you want to kind of get it so that it's in a position almost like ready to come off. And don't forget this one in the bottom corner here. Pretty tricky one, to be honest. Really stiff. But once you kind of got it starting, there you go. Yeah. Just be gentle, you don't want to break the tabs or anything. So it feels like the front wants to come away from the back, but actually when you fold it in, which is what you've got to do next, the back comes away from the front. Really weird way of doing it, but okay. And then I'll bring you around, I'll show you what we got going on. So this is the, like, how the front bit sits in. So you kind of want to, there's like a tab there, you want to push it in. I don't know if you can see it. You just want to push it in. It's obviously hard to do with one hand. You want to push it in and start pulling that out basically, and you can also from the top lever this up and over the catch there. I'll do my best to try and show you without being in the way, but it's pretty awkward, I'm not going to lie. But if it gives you at least an idea of where to go, then it might help. So yeah, now you can kind of lift it off so it's free from the body, and then push that tab in, open it back out, and then probably wiggle it out. So I'll just wedge something in there to keep that tab kind of depressed. There we go, and now it's free. Obviously mine's knackered, so I can, but it will, the motors do have a release, so I have to push backwards, so you can manipulate, they'll be free. So you can manipulate a little bit, so don't be too scared. Then at this point, we're going to take it off the car. This connector at the back is also pretty difficult to get out, like tabs, so it's holding itself in. You have to be pretty forceful with this without breaking it again. And from the front there's like barbs that stick through, but as you do one side it kind of just pulls itself back in from the other, so it can be a bit awkward. Nah, I'll do it off the car. Okay, so just 3 torque spots on the inside. I'm not going to show you that, it's pretty easy, just 1, 2, 3, so we'll get that. Okay, there's 3 of them. Obviously when you're taking the 3rd one out, just support the mirror, make sure you have it unplugged, and then you can just thread the wire in through. Boop. Okay. So let's take it over to the workbench. Carry on. Okay, so how far you need to go with this depends on how much you need to disassemble, which, well, that's kind of a dumb sentence, but basically it depends on what you're doing. So I'm swapping over sort of like the motor onto that frame and base plate, so I'm going to pretty much just pull out the wiring. So there's a connector there which is like pretty hard to get out and back in actually, but if you kind of just grip it, not too forcefully, but you can get it started, get it off. Pull out the wiring, and then I'll get that last one that I was on about, which is a bit awkward, and then this all come off. This is like the body, just make sure you can see that. So this is like the body, and you take off that, pull a big bolt out, and then you can pull this whole like unit out, and that's the actual motor in within this. It's like sits in here, and yeah, that's what does the folding and whatnot. So I can just take that out, leave this bit, put the motor from the silver one on, because I know that's good because I've just had it working, and then put that onto it. Keep my wiring in theory it should work, I'll go check it. If not, I can take the wiring out, but it's a bit of a bollock to do because you've got to disassemble it further. But I'll show you that on this one because I have to do that with this one anyway to get the bits I need out of it, I think. Well, I'm nearly there anyway, so I might as well just show you. So let's carry on with this one first. Just take that connector out, which like I say is a bit of a bollock, but I got the other one out without breaking anything, so. Okay, there's also a block behind it, so you've got to angle it. Instead of going flat in like that, you've got to angle it like that to pull it out as well, so that's interesting. So hopefully this holds alright when it goes back in. Yeah, disconnect. So you've got all the wiring like pretty much free here, and then you can see that'll slot out of here. I'll show you in a sec, so take this off. Big bolt, and there's like a spring washer in there, and then this just lifts off. And that's the motor unit as it were, so you can see the motor in there. So that's the motor, and it turns this like against itself, I guess. So yeah, I think this is just knackered. So put that to one side just in case. Okay, and then what I want to do is clean this up and put a bit of grease on here once I've got got the other bit ready. But we're going to get the other bit ready first and then do that. Let's remove these latches. So if I show you, what you're doing is there's basically one down here, and it's free. This bottom one is the one that's doing the most securing. So you're pressing it basically down. So I'm going to press it into itself. And push against the body of the motor while I'm doing it. And kind of just give it enough wiggle room. And you want to keep tension on it while you're doing it so that none of these slip back in. It's really awkward to do it and show you, but that's basically all I'm doing, just, you know, keeping tension off them. Okay, and it's kind of freed itself up a bit. Just be careful at this stage. I snapped that on mine, but it kind of snapped in the middle, so it still holds fine. So you'll have it kind of loose-ish, and then you want to fold it. Is this the good motor? Yeah, it is. So I'm going to go plug it in and just fold it and then bring it back to you. Okay, and then the back just comes away, really, which is again weird. The back comes away, and then at the front, so you have a tab there. Push that in, and you can kind of get it started while it's here. Push it through a bit. Pull this little tab off here. There we go. It's free from itself, but you can't really pull it out fully because of the shape of that. So I need to go fold it again, and then it'll come out. And now I can kind of pull it out. So you see how there's a tab here. So you want to push that like. Really, I'd show you that. Yeah, you see down in there. There's like a little tab, so you want to push that in. So I was just doing it like a real small flathead, pushing it in, then get it started, and then once it's through, it's fine. That's just kind of securing, but you can't pull it out while it's in there. So I want the motor out of this. So this connector out. Has a weatherproof grommet on. That's why I'm using these, because it's real hard to. Don't cinch down too hard. You might snap the plastic housing, but it's real hard to get onto the grommet, the rubber like waterproof cover, and just pull it because it just slips out your hand. That last connector, like I said, which is pretty awkward. Just make sure you're not bending any of the wings back on themselves. It's a bit awkward, but it'll become apparent. And you've got to pull it, like I say, when it's coming back, there's like a thing there, you've got to pull it, angle it up and over. But yeah, very awkward. Get the wiring free. So this is the good motor. So lift that up, lift that over. If you want to disassemble this fully, what you need to do next is, if you want just like in its component parts, there's like a grommet in there. So the way I did it was just pull this out and pull it around the grommet. The grommet doesn't really serve any purpose as for that, but it's pinning the wiring in, and you can't get it around. It's really tight, quite annoying. Not a grommet, like a circlip thing. And the way I did it was, so I had a trim removal tool, and I was pushing up against it, like constantly against the body, against the circlip. And also at the same time, either using, what was I using? I wasn't using this, I was using a pick. Damages the end of it, but get in between the blades and kind of just open them up a bit. Just open them. So do that a few times, open them up so it's gripping less. And then, yeah, you see it's starting to twist now and turn, but if you just do this, it takes forever. So if you have a bit of constant pressure on it while you're doing this, it kind of wants to come out a bit more. Very awkward, and this is the most I've ever had to take a mirror apart just to swap some caps over and a motor, but yeah, not ideal. But if you just go like that, it's probably going to damage the aluminium body. So just persist a bit, wiggle it, there you go, that's off. Just careful you don't nick the wiring. And then there's now active like capture tabs on the back of this, so you gotta take this, get that one free without snapping it. Two here, one, and two, and then two here as well. So 1, 2. That pulls through, wiring pulls through with it. Take the wiring out through all the connectors side, the big connector won't go through, so you've got to thread these through the one at a time, sorry. Boom, and then you've got it all in its component parts, and that is a ball to do. And thank you to the guy who posted that like sort of technical instruction sheet or whatever the hell it is, because yeah, that really helped me out.